Welcome back to another episode from Medic Me, where today we will be discussing the highly interesting topic of veganism.
We may forget this from time to time, but humans are animals. We are, we always have been, and we will always continue to be animals. Our ancestors had to hunt to survive, and this meat based diet has been passed on through numerous generations to the present. That's not to say that some of us aren't vegetarian. In fact, it is estimated that around 20% of Indians are vegetarian. But more recently, a third category has seen a sudden surge in popularity, despite dating back to even before the Romans. A category that even the most optimistic scientists have been cautious about: veganism.
Many often confuse vegetarianism with veganism, but there is a subtle yet significant difference between the two. The former involves abstinence to meat, whereas the latter builds on this and rejects any products derived from animals, including dairy produced and eggs. Ironically, the first evidence of vegan athletes were the gladiators, who were best known for their violent confrontations with fellow gladiators. They were said to adhere to gladiatorium saganum, gladiator food, which is based on plant foods including large amounts of legumes, pulses and grains, with little or no animal protein.
Now, however, athletes and the public alike are starting to try out vegan diets, with celebrities such as Lewis Hamilton and Jermaine Defoe reportedly experimenting veganism, and in 2019 it was estimated that around 600,000 people in the UK were vegans. Environmental campaigners will argue that veganism is heading in the right direction, as livestock rearing, which are the methane emissions released by animals, as well as deforestation, which is often required to expand pastures, both contribute significantly to global warming. As a result, by encouraging the consumption of more plant based meals and less animal based meals, it is believed that our carbon footprint could be cut up to by 73%.
Scientists are still not convinced. Experts argue that the promotion of veganism may be money motivated, especially given that the global market is expected to be worth 24.3 billion by 2026, whilst the vegan cheese industry alone is expected to be worth nearly 4 billion within the next few years. However, there is an even greater concern regarding how much we actually know about the diet, including the long-term effects of veganism and whether it holds significant advantages over vegetarian or meat-based diets.
Despite the uncertainty and lack of evidence, there are still some reasons to be hopeful. The Dunamis Study is a relatively new investigation which has been closely studying 8,000 runners across Europe, all with varying diets, with the aim of observing whether following a vegan diet leads to greater endurance over the half marathon and marathon distances. This comparison will enable scientists to examine how diet is correlated with performance, and in particular, whether vegan diets can produce results as good as, if not better than, meat and vegetarian diets.
There is still some time until the study comes to an end, but with the understanding that vegan diets may boost immunity as well as aid recovery and rehabilitation of the injury, athletes and scientists alike are becoming increasingly interested. For example, beetroot is known to contain dietary nitrates that support blood flow as well as oxygen and nutrient transportation in the body. On the other hand, there is a fear that athletes may become malnourished easily, lose control over their muscle mass, or even suffer from B12 deficiency, which results in poor oxygen transport and fatigue. B12 is only naturally available from animal foods, and given that low B12 levels may be linked to higher levels of homocysteine, a common amino acid in the blood, which is also a risk factor for heart disease, scientists fear that vegan may be at a greater risk of stroke. It can also lead to calcium and vitamin D deficiency, and therefore, until the results of the study are collected, it will still remain unclear as to whether vegan diets really live up to their promise.
Another area where veganism is being explored is cardiovascular disease, which is the leading cause of death in the UK. It is believed that veganism can help reduce obesity and blood cholesterol levels, two key factors that can cause cardiovascular diseases, and this can help with the government's plight to reduce death from these chronic illnesses, which reportedly cost the UK around £9 billion a year. However, more importantly, experts believe that cardiovascular diseases are often caused by the production of metabolite called TMAO, which result from large quantities of pro-inflammatory fats in some animal products. Therefore, by replacing this with healthier vegan-based alternatives, it is hoped that the antioxidant phytonutrients and nitrates will instead help to reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases. In addition, the anti-inflammatory effect of plant-based produce explains why the tennis superstar Venus Williams, who suffers from Sjogren's syndrome, has been able to combat symptoms associated with the condition, namely extreme fatigue, enabling her to consistently compete at the highest level.
In conclusion, the debate between veganism is not as simple as what meets the eye. It is no longer a discussion around whether becoming a vegan is morally the right thing to do, even though this does and will play a huge part in tackling climate change, but more about whether being a vegan carries the same risk as being a meat eater or vegetarian. However, extensive research is being conducted, and if promising results are collected soon, we may no longer eat as much meat as our ancestors.
Thank you for watching this episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as following our socials and checking out our blog website, which you can find all down in the description below. Thank you for watching.